Hey, it's Saturday. These are my partners of hosting SilentAce221 and Cerv. I'm their partner and host of Mr. Solutions, and this is
Comics Cinema Clash.
I'm trying to taste with you, man. It's
one
coming.
day. They just gonna be. I'm gonna be like, this is, and they're gonna be like, Comic Cinema Clash, just like that. It's gonna be just like that one day. Mm-hmm. But this is Comic Cinema Clash. It is Saturday. We're here to talk about a really crazy week in comic bookdom and adjacent media, as we like to call it on this show. But as you see on the title tags, the highlights this week are Shang-Chi and What If Episode 5. What up, Tanya Love 81? Thanks for always joining the show and doing the moderation on the show. We love you, girl. But yeah, man, okay, so last week we told you we was going to do Shang-Chi this week. Right, so we warned you we was doing it. However, I'm gonna implore myself and my fellow partners in hosting to keep it spoiler light.
Man, I don't know.
Spoiler light.
Spoiler light.
Need filters.
Right, like a week really might not have been enough time for everyone to have seen it that watched it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can respect that. We can do that.
I'll try.
For What If as well?
No, for What If you can go. Look. Okay. What If on Disney Plus? If you ain't watched that, that is not my fault. You got to buy a movie ticket to go see Shang-Chi, and I respect that.
Yep, exactly.
The way the way your account might be set up, Shang-Chi might not have been in the budget. You know what I'm saying? This week,
right?
That's true. Movies is expensive.
Right.
That's why you go ahead and get the
Actually, can we talk about that real quick?
Movies
are not as expensive as they used to be. So I
wouldn't think so?
Look, hold on. I went to go see the show at 10 something at night, and the ticket only cost me $6.
Yep. It's just, you get the, what is it? The what is it called? It's called something. It was like the matinee for the morning, and then like after a certain time at night is like, I think shit. I don't know.
Yeah, the ticket only cost me $6.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Movie Tavern.
Oh yeah.
That's where I went. It cost me $18. What the fuck?
What time of day do you go?
It was like late. It was like 10.
What?
Really? 18.
Did you buy it? Did you buy it at the counter?
No, I bought it online.
Okay. Did you buy it through Fandango?
No.
Okay. So I brought my ticket through Fandango. The ticket only cost me $6 and change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be on that because that's usually where I go to watch, and I ain't trying to spend a ton of money. Like, because it got to be like $50-something for like all three.
Honestly, I was expecting to spend like $18 on the ticket, right? But ticket was $6.
Man, okay, yeah, because that killed me.
Yeah. I was like, man, this is a return from COVID times. They're really trying to entice some people to get into the theater. Like, Yeah, come on
Right?
back to
Not
the
if you go through
theater.
their website, because they was like $18.70 a ticket.
Nah, I hit it. I hit it on Fandango. I paid like $6
Right.
for the ticket. I was
Words of
like,
wisdom,
what?
Fandango.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Hell
But
yeah.
we're gonna keep it spoiler light. We're gonna talk about some minor things I think that happen in comic bookdom and adjacent media. Like this Webtoons DC deal that just got worked out.
Pretty phenomenal stuff. To see it was kind of jarring. So, for those of you who don't know, DC has a webtoon. What was it called again? It was the Wayne
The Wayne Family
what was it?
Adventures. The Wayne Family Adventures.
Yeah, so it seems to be a kind of, you know, outside of being superheroes, what are the Wayne family doing, right? Out, when they're home, how are they acting with each other? Jason Todd is the big brother. Nightwing is I guess, older, maybe out of the house brother, right? Like, I think I saw Signal in the original art, which is like the kind of like black superhero that they tried to rip Miles Morales's, hype off of, right?
Right.
But the fact that that exists is a huge what the fuck in the industry, because this is something I didn't think I'd see happen so soon.
Well, so first we're gonna see a lot of DC properties start to drop on Webtoons. They actually have a media deal with them. One of the reasons why is because they haven't launched their own successful digital platform yet. Right?
Yeah.
So
attempts, right?
but again, hasn't been successful. You were not going to see Marvel fall over into this, even though we have seen a lot of artists from Marvel put out webtoons, right?
Yes.
But Marvel can continue to pay their artists because they actually do have a successful digital platform. But speaking of their successful digital platform, I didn't see this, but Cerv, you were pointing out this week that they've revamped their platform, and a lot of their comics are in Webtoons format now.
Yeah, so just to go into detail about that, it was also pretty shocking because nobody knew this was happening. It just launched this week. They were just like, hey, this is coming out in like 2 days. We're calling it Marvel Infinity. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's a new event. And sure enough, they launched, they didn't just do it with like one comic. There are maybe like 10 comics that they did it with that are all on the format of Webtoons. I only looked at one, which was Jeff the Landshark. If y'all don't know who Jeff the Landshark is, you're sleeping on probably Marvel's cutest character. He's a little shark that lives on the land, has 4 feet. Deadpool's kind of sidekick pet. But the comic had no dialogue. It was just him scrolling at a superhero pool party. The whole thing took maybe like 2 minutes to read, as most webtoons, they're pretty quick, especially the ones with like no dialogue. But I got the exact same amount of joy that I do reading a webtoon out of it. Like, Marvel achieved it, right? I still need to check out DC's Wayne Family Adventures just to see if it hits the same way. But the formatting is really what's special about this, right? I started reading the X-Men one and seeing the Sword space station in this vertical format as you're just scrolling the full length of this space station, and then Wolverine getting shot out the bottom of it. Just felt amazing to read. Like,
nice.
They're on to something there.
We make our comics in the Webtoons format and that scrolling format as well. I personally feel like it's a superior format to tell the graphic novel format in. Honestly,
I agree.
It's called the infinite scrolling page is what it's called, right? This allows you to make a comic as big or as small as you want to make it, right? It's, I don't know. I think it's beautiful. Like I said, I spend a lot of my time reading webtoons, as opposed to reading like regular comics anymore. And I do read a lot of comics on the Marvel app, because that digital format is just really is accessible, right?
Yeah.
And I'm actually excited to check out what the Marvel app has done with this, this infinite scrolling format. So, that's what's going on in comics. Like comics is moving closer to, this more modern take on what it is to reach out to your audience. Because with DC going to webtoons, that means they're not looking for publication money anymore.
Pretty much,
right?
Which
they're
crazy
looking
interesting, right?
They're looking for fan engagement money, right? Which is how everybody gets paid online right now. And okay, so I know a whole bunch of comic book creators, people, that are in the same level as me and Kelvin. We're trying to get out our books or whatever, we're doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
And we've all been at the grind for probably about 10, 12 years, and it takes time, right? And I've been telling these guys, look, shy away from print publishing, shy away from the American standard format. There's no money in it for you. And they're all like, no, this is how I want to make my book, and this is how I imagine my book. And I'm like, I imagined my book that way when I created it too. That's why it's written the way it's written, right? But still and yet, there is no money in print publication of your comic.
There really isn't. And I mean, if people's objections, because whenever I talk to people about it, your words are usually echoing in my ear anytime I talk about this in the industry and the future of the industry. And people's objections have always been, well, you don't see Image or Marvel or DC doing that. They're sticking to their guns. Well, this week you're full of shit.
Yeah, this week you're full of shit. And really, if you really understood what Marvel and DC were doing, you realize that Marvel has limited their print runs considerably since they've launched the Marvel Unlimited app.
Look, and all of these comics, they even made it a really big point in their advertising. Hey, Marvel Infinity comics that just came out this week, you will not be getting these print. These are going to be stories you have to download this app to enjoy.
Yep.
That is such a big statement in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Because there's no money. Look, you would all know they were not making money in print if you were in the comic book shops.
Yeah.
That's you would realize that the shelves are barren, that the shops are closing. Mile High Comics over here on Colorado Boulevard closed.
Yes. Oh, did they? Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that.
No money in print.
No way. Well, and you know what? It really shouldn't be a big surprise just because, I mean, the industry has been moving very rapidly away from it, especially these last couple of years. You go into comic book shops and you know who you see? You see old timers in there, right? Mm-hmm. People who are just used to getting their comics that way. So they like their grab bag, their weekly grab bag. That's you see people who are used to a routine. Mm-hmm. You talk to anybody who is, my age or younger, they don't have physical comic books. No. That's not a thing.
Why would I want that? Why would I want what actually amounts to, okay, there was once a tangible collectability to comics, right?
Yeah.
Like, the prints were limited. They were rare, right? They were valuable because of it. And then once, people got into collecting comics for money, then they started flooding the comic book market with comics, right? Making all of them less valuable. The best thing that this is going to do is make whatever is printed more valuable.
Yep. And I was even thinking that I only have a few actual prints that may be worth something down the line. And it makes me so happy to know that I bought them when I did. Because now those are, variant covers, things like that were limited sales are just going to be worth that much more money down the line. They're going to be that much harder to find. And that is something that is definitely starting to fade away, right?
This argument, I collect physical comics argument is the same thing as I prefer paper books, but is as stupid as saying I still collect Blu-rays.
Great analogy.
You know what I'm saying? So saying you still collect paper comics and paper books, right, is the same stupid thing as saying I still buy Blu-rays and enjoy my movies.
Because you don't have to anymore.
No.
Nope.
You really don't have to.
And the formats, the digital formats for movies, for comic books, and for novels are better. Let me tell you why. You're reading on your digital device, you're reading a book. You come across a word you don't know, right? Traditionally, you would have had to go get a physical dictionary and look up that word, possibly get online and look up that word. Now you can just hold down on the word and it'll be like, do you want the definition? And you press definition and it'll tell you the word that you don't know, right? Like, come on. That's a better format. You know what else is
really cool too is the links that they used to put in comics. They don't really do this so much anymore. But Marvel and DC used to do like AR links, where you could hold your phone up to the physical comic, and then you'd get a little video that would pop up saying from the writer, "Hey, this is what we were trying to do." You get that director's cut feeling from reading a book, and then that stopped appearing in physical ones because they were like, "We could just put the video in the actual comic,
right?
It's a digital comic."
Right.
Not just that, but have you seen some of the trailers for comics lately?
Yes.
Amazing. They built so much hype.
Okay, speaking of, did you see the trailer for Tower of God when it was coming back?
Yes. What an awesome trailer, right?
Right. When the webtoon was returning, the Tower of God webtoon trailer was friggin' amazing. I was like, yo, is this what we could be doing? Like,
they nailed the feel of that book in that trailer.
Man, yo. But okay, enough about comics converting to webtoons. I think all you guys get it. My future site is better than everybody else's future site. I told everybody that this is where everyone was going to go. So screw all you guys. I'm right.
Right.
Fuck are you?
Look. Okay. Actually, real quick, I'm gonna tell you another time I was severely right and the internet chewed me a new asshole. Okay, so when the Marvel Universe first started coming about, right? I was on somebody else's post, right? Like CBR or something like that, right? And I was all like, just wait, within the next 10 years, Marvel's gonna buy up all their properties back, and we're gonna start seeing things like Infinity Wars and Secret Wars and stuff, right? And the internet lit me up. Oh, bro, you don't have no idea. I was in a 2-week argument with 200 fools on the internet about how stupid I was and what I didn't know and how was Marvel gonna get this money and blah 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 blah. I wish I could find that post so I can rip all those haters up because I was 100% right in every fucking prediction I made.
I can't believe, and it's kind of nuts because why I think people felt that way is because they were blind to something that you weren't. Blade made money.
That's right.
That's something people are still blind to this day.
Right.
Blade made
money. Blade saved Marvel Comics. Blade saved Marvel. It helped them establish the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Blade is the bedrock for everything you got right now because Blade made so much money.
Yep. People love to give this credit to Iron Man. It wasn't Iron Man at all.
Nope, it was Blade. Blade made Iron Man possible.
Yep. They were blind to that then, and they're still kind of blind to that now. I still see people arguing about that today. It's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy, but yeah, you're right. They didn't see the past so they could see the future. That's all it was.
Yep.
But we're here to talk about What If and Shang-Chi today. Well, I think we're gonna leave Shang-Chi for last. We're gonna talk about What If episode 5 real quick.
Yeah, let's.
Ace, why don't you lead us into this What If episode 5 discussion? Let's talk about it, bro.
Oh man. So I knew about this zombies. I never read about it at all. So I was going to this freshly open-minded, seeing this stuff. Holy shit. The comedic sense of that show was pretty funny. Peter, Spider-Man, my favorite character. It nailed exactly what he's supposed to be. So that whole intake of that was great for me. Knowing what has happened and how it happened, that blew my mind. That blew my face off. I was like, what? That really came from here? And as I stated earlier to Cerv, and Cerv was like, shut up, don't say anything, no spoilers. And in Discord, I have a feeling that the Quantum Realm and Ant-Man, Wasp, all that is going to be a large part of the show. I just have a feeling. Because it came up a couple of times, and I don't know what it's leading to, but I'm excited to see what's happening. So that fucking zombies was nasty. Bucky, Agent Carter, or was it Peggy? No, not Peggy.
It was Agent Carter.
Yeah. And then, it was just Okoye, the whole 9 was fucking insane. I was not expecting anything to happen then. Vision, everything that happened blew me the fuck away. So coming this with a fresh mind and knowing about it and not ever really reading the comic about it or anything like that, I would have to say this is my favorite episode yet.
I don't think there's a comic for this. All these what ifs seem to be based off the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
So there is a Marvel Zombies comic, obviously. The show pulled a lot of different like little things from that comic, right? T'Challa being a kind of zombie snack was in the comic. I thought that was really cool that they called that out. But it wasn't Vision. It was actually Hank Pym using him as a snack to fend off his zombie cravings while he looks for a cure, which was really cool. But you know what surprised me out of the... Did anybody else have this feeling? Because both me and my son were sitting here watching this show and was just sitting here like, who the hell is Kurt? Who is this random Kurt dude that's following them around? Like the goofy dude.
Oh, he's from...
and he's the dude from Ant-Man. Yeah. It took me forever to realize... Man, for like half the show, I'm like, who the hell is this dude? And then it just hit me like, oh, I remember who this guy is.
All right, so I like Ace. I thought the comedic presence of a zombie. Okay, the juxtaposition of intense comedy with the horror of zombies was incredible. The zombies were Look, the zombies were a problem because they could use all their powers.
Yeah, that was fucking sick. That was dope.
Frightening as hell. Like, come on, for real? Y'all are zombies and you got complete control of your powers? That is completely unfair.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But then it was also Scott Lang's head in a jar.
Oh, that was funny. That shit was funny.
That was awesome that they did that.
Scott Lang's head in a fucking jar? One continuous dad joke?
Oh my god.
The fact that he kept him with him too. Like, why?
Why was Cape the hero though?
Oh, of the whole thing.
Of the whole thing. Cape was the hero of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Cape came in so clutch. The entire show.
It's really weird because coming off of the last episode of What If, the Doctor Strange episode that really kind of hit you right in the heart.
Oh yeah.
Didn't end on some happy high note. It was just a really dark ass story.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was about to expect something similar with this or expect something Walking Dead like. And that's not what happened. This was so light and humor. You laugh. Like the way that Captain America got infected had me actually rolling. Because I was like, that's what it took? That's all it took?
Right.
Like, it just shrunk down and
right.
Hey, fuck your neck. That's it.
Wait, can we talk about how this What If series is really making the people who use PIM particles OP as shit?
Yes.
I think that they had to do that, and because you see people complain about it all the time. How come we're not seeing Ant-Man kill people and do this and that? Well, they're giving you a full dose of that right now.
Yeah.
They are OP, all of them.
Yes.
Like, the PIM particles OP. Like, the last episode of What If, Hank Pym just went around and killed all the goddamn Avengers.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
I'm telling you.
Easily.
With ease.
Yeah, with ease.
I'm just saying. I have a feeling that the whole particle quantum realm. It's going to be a massive play into the series right now. I'm just having that feeling right now.
Well, it's going to be a massive play into It's going to be a massive play into this multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
The multiverse situation.
And that part is obvious. I hope for the rest of What If they lay off of the Ant-Man though. I really enjoyed seeing these extreme Ant-Man kind of centric stories out of both of those episodes. What was that, 3 and 5, right? Yep. But I hope that, not every episode. I hope that that's not a reoccurring theme that we can just blame things on, a deranged Hank Pym or deranged Janet Van Dyne. Like, I hope we start to explore some different things, and they seem to be doing a really good job with that, right? Like, this is only 2 times that they've really used Ant-Man, and he doesn't really get used a lot in Marvel MCU stories, anyways. But I hope that it isn't, more quantum stuff to explain the What If story. I hope that, because I think that they've done that enough, right? Future episodes, I hope they really, let's get into some other characters, right? Like, let's see what everybody else has got.
Absolutely. One of the things that we're dealing with, I guess, also with this is because they're all based off of MCU stories, we're not going to see, like, what if the X-Men, what if things that we're not familiar with, like we would see in traditional What If comics, right? So, how much of this MCU, trigger point can they use for this What If continuity stuff, I guess.
And it's enough to make at least a couple of seasons off of, right? I would like to see more, what if Black Panther, just in his world, right? I'd like to see a little bit more of that. It looks like we're going to, because I think in one of the trailers we saw some Killmonger, pop up a couple of times. Things like that I'm really excited to see. I want to see more Eric Killmonger. He was an amazing villain. Let me see some more Claw. Claw didn't get a ton of time in the MCU. He was kind of a weird
with
villain.
that. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, no, and he didn't need to be the main villain of that film. Killmonger was definitely the better villain for that film, but
I think Claw is a joke on, like, every level.
Well, they already got that. Yeah, but I think they portrayed a lot of the Claw at this point. If you guys haven't seen, because out of the video game aspect of it was in the new Avengers, they have an Wakanda map and a Wakanda timeline where they show Killmonger not Killmonger, but Claw and a lot of his stuff and what he does. And so I think that's a good way to go with it in general, because he's not that big of a character within the Marvel cinema at this point, and I think that's a good way to sort of tie him in some form. So I think that's how they did it.
So let me correct what I said. I want to see more of Claw in the sense that we saw more of, like, this Kurt character, right?
Yeah,
like, he's there, but he's not the central focus, right?
Bro, we got to see him in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, we did. We got to see him twice. Yeah. He had an established role too. He wasn't, a super small, right?
Right.
No, he was known, definitely known.
He was at least at Bartok the Bouncer's level.
And wait, that's one of the What If episodes too, right? We still haven't gotten the Ultron.
Oh yeah,
thing too. So we're about to see some nut stuff, I feel.
That's gonna be good. I like the fact that they tipped the hat to the whole Spider-Man with Doctor Strange's cape.
Yeah.
I like how they did some homage to that.
When they showed him in the promo poster with the cape on, I promise nobody guessed that would be a Zombies tie-in.
Oh no. I like that they tipped that. So that was cool. I thought that was really, really cool to see that.
Yeah, no. So we're coming up on the half-hour mark. It's probably about as good time as any to start having this next discussion about Marvel Shang-Chi and how we feel about it. You know what? I'm gonna have Cerv start this one. I'm gonna have you kick this one off.
So to keep it non spoiler centric, Man, they just did such a phenomenal job with this movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. You're not going to be let down. Look, if you just like seeing a good fight, the fight choreography in this movie is on some next level stuff. It is so artsy in the way that every single fight scene has been shot. You can tell that there's just such a high attention to detail for every single punch, kick, anything thrown. The art style, the lighting, the mood of this whole movie is just mind-blowingly colorful, right? Not to mention the fact that, like, Simu Liu, like, I can't think of anybody better that they could have cast for this role. Dude just fits the profile of Shang-Chi so goddamn well. I was expecting Aquafina's character to be way more in your face, but they were real subtle and really, really nice about how they kind of included her. There wasn't really a character that I didn't like. I especially like how they did the character Death Dealer, who's the guy with the mask in the trailer. I think that he wasn't, some big overplayed thing the way that I thought he was. The man, like, if you've known Asian people and their family dynamics, if you have an Asian friend and the harsh tiger mom or tiger dad, and this movie just captures that way of growing up on a whole nother level. I've said forever and ever and ever, the best villains that are out there are the ones that you can be sympathetic about. And my heart truly hurt for the villain of this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Ace, lay it on me.
All right. So me coming into this whole Shang-Chi, knowing about him, and within the past couple of years, finding more information about him, and more so now with the movie that just came out. So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Coming from a fan based for the movies and not knowing much of the character, it sucked me in. If you're just a big kung fu karate, like I am, like this movie hit all that action-packed stuff for you. Like Cerv said, it's colorful. It has a little bit of like every dynamic, every feel that you want in an action movie. Definitely a karate kung fu flick. This definitely touched base on it. The dynamic of the background of with their culture, how they hit on that, how the beginning of the movie started and stuff like that, and it was just their dialect. That was wonderful. It made you feel and understand everything. It just hit it out the park for me personally with this movie, and not knowing anything about it. And I feel like I want to have more stories, more of this here, even a miniseries of anything related with Shang-Chi. I am so down for it because it just pulled me in. And I want to know more. I need more of it because it was that much of a fun flick. It almost gave me a sort of a Thor Ragnarok comedic feel to it in some senses, in some areas. Was it Trevor?
Trevor.
Oh my God, yo, I'm happy. I'm happy about how they have certain comedic aspects of it. Definitely Katie was great. But yeah, just it makes me want more. And I enjoyed it a lot. I mean,
Morris. Who doesn't want a Morris?
Oh man, like
Morris is grotesquely frightening, by the way. All right, so I'm gonna give you one of my famous spoiler-free reviews on this movie, and I'm a little more midline than these two on love this movie. I'm gonna say I enjoyed Shang-Chi. Great action, wonderful cinematography. The camera work in this movie was beyond. Like, seriously, whoever was in charge of these cameras and how they wired them or whatever they did, excuse me, fantastic. Like, seriously, the way they track the martial arts action in this movie, if you are paying attention, will split your entire wig open. I think that they did handle the Aquafina character wonderfully. I thought she was going to be more in your face too. She handled her role fantastically,
Mm.
and she really held the comedic relief in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I thought the little relationship that they had was genuine, and it wasn't an overbearing love interest in the movie, but it was still there, fulfilling that role. I felt that the story took a lot of hard right turns
Mm.
in it, and they were really kind of jarring overall. The story's a little light for me, as far as from a writing perspective. I feel like Marvel's been cheating this villain thing lately by having a villain and then a villain you don't know, so that you can feel more sympathetic about the villain you know. Right? I feel like they took the same path that they took in this movie with the Mandarin and the Dweller of Darkness, as they did with Black Widow, with Taskmaster and the head of the Black Widow agency. Right? I feel like from a writing perspective, that's a little like cheating. Right? So I'm a little more midline with Love. I really did enjoy it. I laughed out loud. I enjoyed the martial arts for the most part. I did enjoy the story. I really, at some point, I was like, how did we wind up here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that really all of those are very fair criticisms. I'm trying to find any reason to disagree with any of that, and you really can't. If you really go back and take a look at that, a lot of movies, I'm sure, especially from an experienced writer's perspective, you can kind of, get a good sense of, what to expect from the movie before you've watched it, right? And the hard type right turns that you were talking about are definitely they're very kind of in your face in the movie, right? Like there's definitely a few of them, and not necessarily in a good way, right? Like not this is how this movie's gonna end. It's kind of like, yeah, you guys have kind of done this before, and it's starting to become a habit, right? So yeah, I can agree with really just about everything that you said there. I think that that's a very fair assessment of the movie.
But I did really enjoy it. I do suggest the watch, right? So I'm not, in no way am I saying it was a bad movie.
Oh, no. And I think that that's a really good criticism of just what it was, right? But that doesn't mean at all that it was bad.
Right. Because if it was bad, I'd be like, yo, the movie was crap, straight up and down.
Yeah.
But nah, the movie was actually super enjoyable. I really fell in love with all the characters. I think they really redeemed the Trevor character. In an amazing way, and I don't know why the critics were so harsh on the revival of that character. The way that, but yeah, honestly, he was kind of a hard right turn. So I just watched All Hail the King today, right? So even if I had watched it before, he would have still been a hard right turn in that movie.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
he was used as such a very specific mechanic, right?
He really was.
And you can tell that the inclusion was for something so super specific, right? Like,
and this was really the right way to do it, though, right? Like, I mean, if you're going to use this character, I don't think that there would have been a better way to really do it than the way that it was done in the movie. Because I mean, this is something that everybody's kind of been wondering for years, what happened to him, right? After the whole All Hail the King thing, what really happened to him? Now you get to know that. I'm still seeing a couple of fans that are now kind of got that same curiosity renewed. What happened to him after this? People kind of want to see this dude, right? Who'd have thought Ben Kingsley's joke character would have gotten so much attention from fans, right?
Well, you know what? It's because of how much hatred there was surrounding him to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he had an incredible amount of hatred cast upon him because of how Marvel decided to handle his character in Iron Man 3, right? Like,
yeah, man. And honestly, I'm one of the guys that was let down by that. I really wanted him to.
I was too.
To play the role. I love the whole "you'll never see me" like that trailer had people hyped the hell up.
Hey, yo, do the voice. Do the voice.
Yeah, you'll never see me coming.
Yo, I told you he would do it. Yeah. Yo, I think it was a
you
great.
know what? I wouldn't mind seeing more of him. Especially if they do like if What If season 2 or season 3 or whatever starts getting into some of these other phases of MCU movies. I think that might be a really good way to kind of bring him back for some What If stories, right? I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I okay. I also wasn't over impressed with the Mandarin character and villain.
It wasn't what I expected. So like Marvel did something with 2 characters in this movie that I don't feel like anybody's really talking about, or I haven't really seen it. And that's
I was just about to talk about it with you, and you missed the pre-conversation where I was talking about exactly what you're going to say to Ace.
Are you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't. Are we talking about the combination of roles?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you're reading my mind.
We
here.
absolutely are talking about the combination of roles here, people.
Yeah. The Mandarin is Fu Manchu, and the actual Mandarin all in one role. And not just Fu Manchu, but Shang-Chi's actual father in the comics. You really have 3 different characters that have kind of been adapted into one singular role in that movie.
Yeah.
And not just the Mandarin, but, Shang-Chi's sister, in the comic. So this is one thing that I love that Marvel's doing, is that they're pulling from brand new comics. They're not just pulling from like old comics anymore or referencing old comics. They're kind of putting these stories together with modern and old comics, because Shang-Chi did not find out that he had siblings until like a year ago in comics, right? He has 5 siblings, and they all in the comics hold a different house of deadly weapons that his father kind of passed down to them, right? He didn't know that he had so his sister Zhuang Lei in the movie is actually a combination of 2 of his sisters in the comics, Sister Hammer and Sister Dagger. I thought that you get a real good feel if you haven't read Shang-Chi's 2020 run. Definitely, good recommendation if you want something more after watching the movie, because you get the same kind of feel, right? Oh, yeah. But Sister Hammer is this very stern, deadly warrior. She doesn't so much care that she has a brother as she cares about taking over the family business, right? She was ignored in favor of the son on the pedestal, and now she just wants to take over the family business. Sister Dagger is this lighthearted little girl who's the youngest of them, who I hope Marvel uses more, that feels like, hey, I never had a brother before. Now I have a brother. Let me get to know him, right? Yeah. Don't forget that I still kill for a living, but this is really cool that I have a brother, right? So seeing both of these characters kind of get combined into one was just really, really cool, because if you've read the comic, that that's where they came from, right?
But seeing Fu Manchu and the Mandarin merge together was not cool.
No, they didn't have to do that. They really didn't have to do that.
So, let's okay, so one of the things that I love about doing this show is the perspectives that we come from. So I do read some modern Marvel stuff, but not a whole bunch of it, right? And Cerv reads a whole bunch of it. I'm very versed in like classic Marvel stuff from like 70s, 80s, 90s. Silent Ace is, kind of new in both of the realms and like digesting the movies and the comics, right? So it gives us some like, unique perspective. For me, so I had the whole entire Shang-Chi run from the 70s, like from issue 1, until it was canceled, right? So for me, it's like, all right, so you took Iron Man's villain, which is the Mandarin. You repurpose him as Shang-Chi's father, which he is not, right? You repurpose the weaponry of the rings. Not that it wasn't cool, but the Mandarin's rings are fucking dope.
Yeah, like the comic rings.
Yes.
Yeah, when I heard that this movie was getting a thing, I kind of wanted the rings to actually be what they were in the comics. So when the first trailer came out and they were just kind of weapons, I was a little bit let down because I'm like, that's not what they are in the comics, and in the comics they're something else.
I'm still a little bit let down. I'm not gonna lie, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not disappointed.
Right.
Right? But I'm still a little let down, right? Like the Mandarin's rings in the comics are dope.
I mean, you're talking like water control, energy,
Fire control, right, like, invisibility, like they're dope.
Space control. He could do everything.
They're dope.
And honestly, you know what? While we're talking about the Mandarin in comics, it's a shame that character has just been forgotten in comics, in modern comics. He is nowhere anymore.
You know why? Because he was always the wrong villain for Tony Stark.
He is.
Even though he was his first villain, he was always the wrong villain for Iron Man.
Because they just don't fit, right? And
no.
I think the last time he appeared was during the Extremis storyline back in, what was that, 2006?
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of out of place for that story. You know, they're putting the Mandarin in a business suit and trying to have him be some business Mongol against Tony Stark. It's not really the character.
No. He's a modern day tyrant, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But I don't know. Marvel's finding themselves having to backtrack on a lot of racist ideas in comics, right? You know, what was inclusivity then is now, in retrospect, looked at severely racist. Even when you look at like old Black Panther, old Luke Cage, right? Or Iron Man, or Power Fist. Power Man. If you look at Shang-Chi, right? Honestly, if you look at Iron Fist, there's some incredibly racist shit going on there.
Oh, especially Iron Fist. So the same way that we had the conversation with Black Panther, you can't really talk about Black Panther without bringing up some really hard racist moments. Shang-Chi is the exact same way, right? The whole character has very racist origins, right? Iron Fist to this day, still rubs so many Asian Americans the wrong way, right? Yeah. I don't like, I see all these people getting excited over, oh, this is, now that this movie's a thing, we're going to be able to see Iron Fist come back and take the spotlight again. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to. Can we just let an Asian American have an Asian American story without Iron Fist? Like, if we bring back Iron Fist, I want him to come back as a Heroes for Hire thing with nothing to do with what we just saw, right? That's a lot more truer to the character than him trying to ride on Shang-Chi's coattails. If we have to bring back Iron Fist, let's get Heroes for Hire. Let's continue the story that they set up in the Netflix series, which probably won't happen. But if we're gonna do it, that's the way I'd like to see it done.
Yeah. I would like to see Heroes for Hire as a television show. I would like to see it alongside Daughters of the Dragon. This way we get an intermingling of, Danny Rand, Luke Cage, Misty Knight, and Colin Wing. Honestly, I will be real with you. For all the hate that Iron Fist gets, over the years, my favorite comic book stories have come from the Heroes for Hire group, right?
Because they're good.
Because they're
like really good.
They have always been good. They have always been relevant, right? And I absolutely love that little group. Even Jessica Jones in that Heroes for Hire group, really, because she really belongs in that group as well. I really, really enjoy those street level stories, where there's people, they're using their skills and or powers to fix things that matter, right, on the ground for people that matter, like me and you every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love those hero fights.
That's the reason why villains like the Kingpin were so polarizing. It's the reason why that whole Netflix show, the whole Netflix, all of the shows, they all hit that ground street level, superhero problem that, you found out were huge problems that, the larger Avengers were too, these are not important enough for Tony Stark's attention, but that didn't mean that they weren't still a big deal.
Right.
That didn't mean that Wilson Fisk was not still a very large threat, right?
Right.
Who I still think is probably, definitely top 3 Marvel villains. He's my favorite villain that they've put on screen for MCU stuff so far.
I love that actor.
Yeah. You know what I just found out that he was in?
Men in Black.
I had no idea that was him.
Yeah, he's the Edgar suit. Yeah. But he's also the dude from Law and Order, not SVU. The other one, Criminal Intent.
Yes, that's
right. And that is honestly, he's one of my favorite Law and Order detectives.
Oh yeah, he was the best.
The role he plays is so dope. But that's it was like he was wearing an Edgar suit.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it. And maybe it was because he was all deformed for most of the movie that I didn't put it together that was him.
Yeah, no, I knew that was him. But no, I really, really, really enjoyed him on screen as Kingpin. I honestly, I really enjoyed Daredevil. I really enjoyed all the Netflix. Vincent D'Onofrio, yeah, that's it. D'Onofrio. He's the dude in Full Metal Jacket that shoots himself in the bathroom as well. Yeah,
sure was. Awesome actor.
Yep, awesome actor. I enjoyed the Netflix shows though. I realized why they got taken off. It had nothing to do with their popularity and everything to do with not competing with Disney Plus, right? But I really, really enjoy them. Even Iron Fist. I really enjoyed Iron Fist. Right.
I like the second season better.
For all the hate that the Iron Fist TV show got, I did enjoy it. I would have liked to have seen it continue for at least one more season, just to kind of see what the next step is. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was the better of all of the shows, but that doesn't mean that it was a bad show. I did enjoy it.
It was the best out of all those shows. I'm gonna be real. The Last Entry, Punisher.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah,
Punisher was great.
And you know what? That's coming from somebody. I do not like the Punisher.
Me neither.
Never liked that character, but that show made me love him.
It was great. My dude from The Walking Dead played the shit out of the Punisher. He killed that role. Killed it. I also enjoyed Luke Cage a lot. I know the second season got a lot of pushback, but I really, really, really enjoyed Luke Cage.
That's another show that I wish I could see more of.
Yeah.
And Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones was phenomenal.
Yeah, people slept on that.
Yeah, that second season of Jessica Jones, the way that ended,
This is why I think Marvel needs to take these characters and at least do something with them, right? Like, to just let them end like that.
Oh yeah,
you're just missing out on so much potential, right? And I'm sure that they're aware of that. And I don't think anybody's asking for them right now. Hopefully, they just have something planned. I hear all these people complaining about, whether or not Daredevil is in the Spider-Man movie. Is that really how you want to see that character come back? Though? Would you not rather see him get his own series or movie or some kind of short or something back? I don't really want to see him in a Spider-Man movie. Like, if that is him, I'm gonna be just a little bit let down, to be honest.
I know. I'm gonna be real with you. Honestly, I'd rather see him, and honestly, I'd rather see the collection of them in a Heroes for Hire series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Like full Heroes for Hire. Set up the office. Yeah. Have the Daughters of the Dragon in there. Just the whole thing. Everybody.
Let's just bring back the Heroes for Hire series. You know what I'm saying?
That'll be good.
One, that was also good, right? And they should have never planned that for a one shot or one season, because that was great. Like having
the
them all.
Defenders.
Oh yeah, the Defenders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was called. Yeah, they should have just kept running the Defenders. Honestly, that was
Oh
great.
yeah.
Yep.
But let's see. We had 150. It's 153. We almost up on this hour, y'all.
Damn.
We're almost there.
Not even noticed that.
Me neither.
You know, though, on the Shang-Chi, because I know that there are people who have reservations about going to see the movie. You know, go see it. If you're looking from the perspectives of all three of us here, I'm pretty sure the message is the same. Go see it. You're going to enjoy it.
Mhm.
It really does stand very solid in that next phase of Marvel storytelling.
Oh yeah.
This is what I'm gonna say. So I don't generally go to the movies to watch movies anymore. I generally wait for them to come out because I enjoy 4K, I enjoy subtitles, and I enjoy really good audio. So I find that the movies are generally a waste of money for me.
Mhm.
If I wasn't doing this show and trying to stay relevant, I probably would not have gone to see Shang-Chi. I would have waited, right? With all of that being said on the woulda, shoulda, couldas, my suggestion is if you are closer to my taste and enjoying a movie, I would wait for it to come out. It'll be out in a month and a half anyway. It will be a much more enjoyable experience at home. I'm sure that when I watch it at home again, I'm going to enjoy it so much more, right?
Mhm.
Especially if you've got that giant 4K TV like I know you've got.
That's
And
right.
probably the dope sound system to go with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy it at all.
You're going to enjoy it at home, right? I would not have spent outside money to go see this movie in the poopy theaters, right? But all that being said, you should watch it in a format that is enjoyable for you. So if you enjoy the movies and you like that experience, and that is a thing you like to do, absolutely go see it. It is definitely worth the view, right? If you can wait, I would wait to see it at home.
Oh man, I think definitely I enjoyed it. I would have done the same thing, watch it from home, 4K surround sound.
Yeah,
comfort of my own couch. Can we talk about the post credits real quick? I mean, I don't want to give another way on that stuff, but what's your opinion on that? Like,
Without spoiling anything.
exactly.
I think that just the ending of the way that the movie, just the way that they did the post-credit scenes makes me excited for the Eternals. I feel like there aren't really a lot of people talking about that movie or getting excited about it just because it looks so different.
Yep.
I hope that this just builds up the hype for future MCU things, right? Like before I end, I feel like Marvel has been kind of stuck in the past with this new phase, and we're not seeing, we keep seeing references from older Marvel things, specifically with Spider-Man. That's starting to get a little annoying for me. Seeing the story finally start to breathe a little bit with that post-credit scene and the MCU kind of breathe with What If, and the Eternals is about to be here, followed by Spider-Man, followed by Hawkeye, and Miss Marvel. I'm excited to see the universe breathe.
The post-credit scene was interesting. I will say that. I feel like the whole movie was an attempt to justify Shang-Chi's entry into the MCU. I feel like the post-credit scene was a lot of that as well. I think that if we're bringing up the Eternals and the Shang-Chi movie, we should probably talk about the fact that in the theaters there is a what those things come on, trailer for the new Eternals movie. It was pretty interesting looking. I don't think that people are not excited about the Eternals because it looks different. I think people are not excited about the Eternals because fundamentally it is different, right? For the same reason that no one has ever been excited about the Eternals in the comics. is the same reason that no one is excited about the movie.
Very fair.
So that's what I want. That's what I want to say with that. I'm excited to see what they do with the Eternals if they change my mind about the IP. But there's three IPs that Marvel has never been able to launch successfully: Micronauts, the Eternals, and Power Pack.
Ooh, that last one's gonna be such a hard sell if they ever decide to do that, man.
Power Pack's a hard sell. It's
Yeah,
weird. It's always been weird.
And you know what has me excited about the Eternals? Because I've never really enjoyed that comic. I've had to really force myself through reading Eternals comics, even the newer ones.
Mhm.
It's the success of the Guardians of the Galaxy that has me excited, because if
Yeah,
they
me
can
too.
capture the same magic, because that's another one of those that deserves to be in that same category. They were never successful doing anything with that until the movie came out. Right?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's
that
also been a
comic has
failed
always
title.
failed.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this kind of captures the same magic. That's where my hype lives for the Eternals.
Honestly,
Okay.
I share that emotion with you, right? I look at the Guardians of the Galaxy, something that an IP that has traditionally just been like bottom of the shoe
Trash.
material, right?
Mm.
And they brought it to the big screen and really made you fall in love with these characters. But was that James Gunn? Or was that Marvel?
That was James Gunn.
Right. That was James Gunn. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, let's be real.
but hopefully, whatever the director is on the Eternals is going to deliver that effect. However, they're going to deliver it, right? So,
Female director this time. I forgot her name. But supposedly she's really good. I hear good things, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, I'm
And
excited.
we'll be right here on this show talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
I'm excited for it. Yeah, that's another group of characters that I know of, but need to know more detail of, and I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Dude, nobody really knows about the Eternals. They don't know about themselves.
They really do have an opportunity to fuck up their storytelling process right now. So I'm a little scared too, right? Because yeah, the Eternals has big implications for not the greatest of reasons.
Eternals is true Marvel obscure, where everybody that's a Marvel fan knows what they're supposed to be doing, but no one that's a Marvel fan knows what they are actually doing.
What's the crazy thing? I just got the feel from the Eternal. They're like pantheon gods, like how DC portrays their characters in a sense, because they're like everlasting, and
that is not far off. As a matter of fact,
yeah, that's a good observation. Actually,
they hang out with the pantheon-like gods that are in Marvel.
Yeah.
So they hang out with the Asgardians. They hang out with the Greek gods. You know, because Marvel has Zeus and Hercules and all those, right?
Yeah.
They kind of have like a we watch the Earth as gods continuum kind of deal going on. I don't know. It's effing weird.
I'm definitely curious about the whole factors why their explanation of why they didn't interfere with Thanos. That's
they try to address. So apparently, they address it in the movie, right?
Yeah.
And I know that because they start to address it in the trailer, right?
In the trailer, exactly.
But there's no excuse they can give that's good enough because Titan is the king of Thanos is the king of the deviants. Like he's the head deviant. Where the fuck were you when the head deviant was running rampant on Earth?
And that's why I said that they have an opportunity to really fuck their storytelling, because I can already feel them saying, "Oh, well, Thanos isn't a deviant," and everybody who has read a comic is about to roll their eyes.
Yep, come at me with Thanos ain't a deviant. Come at me with that, because that is completely incorrect and would ruin all storytelling and all of Marvel.
Fucking eyes. Because that's the thing, Thanos isn't eternal, right? He's built into the machine. Not if you've read the Eternals, you know what the machine is, right? His DNA is a part of the machine. He is one of them.
And he's a deviant, which is the opposite of them, right?
Yeah, he's the failure.
Right. You know, and they moved all the like the high end deviants to Saturn, or one of the moons of Saturn or whatever, right? And you know he was born there with his deviant parents or whatever. No, actually, his parents are kind of
No, yeah, they weren't deviant. They were native Titans. It's
they were
just
native.
He was born with their gene, right?
Yeah, with the deviant gene.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is
and-
actually why he has the chin. And Skrulls have the wrinkled chin too.
Mhm.
It's a sign of the deviant gene being a part of your race. That's why all Skrulls have that as well, and why they have the transformation powers and stuff. So true comic nerd shit right there.
But
nice. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know. People are gonna roll their eyes when they say Thanos ain't a deviant. That's
I'm prepared to put them all the way to the back of my head because I feel like that's exactly what's about to happen.
That's what's gonna happen.
I
But
hope we see slushios.
yeah, me too. But hey, it's been great hanging out with you guys today. And audience, thank you for hanging out with us. If you're watching now, if you're watching later, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back to next week. I'm sure we're gonna be talking about What If episode 6 because What If is just a hot button right now. Like every episode of that has been fantastic.
Hey, you know what? Can we actually? Because I feel like that's probably not going to fill the whole episode. Can we all check out that webtoon and maybe talk about that too? I think. That'd be pretty cool.
I'm gonna. Yeah, totally. Yep. I'm gonna read it anyway. So yeah, let's check out.
See what it's about. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure we're all gonna check it out. Might as well talk about it, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about Wayne Family Adventures. We'll talk about DC's shift to webtoons. Yeah. Honestly, we'll get a little bit more in depth about what that really means to the comic book industry. Because I do have a lot of thoughts, obviously, on that.
I'm pretty sure all of us have a pretty strong opinion on what that looks like. I think that would make a great talking point for an episode. I figured that was going to come somewhere down the line. So this is kind of perfectly placed that this is happening in the industry, right? I think this is a good way to segue into that conversation.
Yeah, it's also a good way to segue into the conversation that me and Kelvin's book will probably be out in like, I don't know, about 2 months. So you can get ready for that on Webtoons.
Yeah, man.
There it is.
Right. Get ready for that. Get ready for Insegnia in the first book, Kazelle Harbinger. It'll be amazing. It'll be dizzle dope.
You can try to be ready, but you're not ready.
You ain't ready, but you can try to be ready. But look, it's been Comic Cinema Clash. It's been great. It's been Saturday. We love you guys. Take it easy.
Later.